What's up, everyone? Welcome to Teams Memes Not Meta. We got Andrew here, and he's going to be giving us a special deck profile. And what are you going to be profiling today?
So today I'm going to be profiling my locals winning trains. So I actually had the privilege of topping locals a couple weeks ago. It was a tie for first, tied with the man behind the camera as well. So we both did pretty well that night. And that's going to be my trains. And trains, I feel like, is a really good, very solid rogue option because not a lot of people know what they do, and you just make you know how a lot of decks right now are just go crazy, have a first turn wombo combo for 20 minutes. This deck is make two boys on the field, make a big boy, and then just ram into your opponent, and I think that's absolutely beautiful. It's a simple deck, and there's not a whole lot to it, and it got a lot of good support from Legendary Duelists, and it's getting even more with the link soon.
Awesome. Well, with that being said, why don't we get right into the profile here?
Let's do it. Absolutely. First things first, you got to have your Ben 10 Trading Card Game Field Center. Absolutely necessary to winning.
Best card in the deck.
Only reason I won was because of this, so you have to have that. That is a must-have right there. So for the rail cards, actually, first off, 2 Night Express Knight. A lot of people play 3 of this. This is one of your normal summons in the deck. It's a level 10, but it can normal summon itself and become have 0 attack. I found 3 was a little bricky, although I'm considering bumping it up to 3 with the new link support because it brings back level 10s and I want some more. But as for now, 2. I'm just going to give you the profile with what I won with. So 2 Night Express Knight. The other normal summon in the deck, you got 3 of the card from Legendary Duelist, which made this deck very good, and that's Flying Pegasus Railroad Stampede. This card is level 4 that when you normal or special summon, you can special summon an Earth Machine from the grave, and he has a second effect where he can target another card on the field, become that level. This makes your rank 10s super duper easy to be able to play because you just get this on the field with either a Derricrane or a Super Express Bullet Train, activate the effect, become level 10 and overlay, and just go into your plays right there.
Sick.
Speaking of Derricrane, the absolute best card in the deck. Heavy Freight Train Derricrane, an absolute 3 of, you need to play 3. And this card is just so good. It special summons itself automatically when you normal or special summon another Earth Machine. So anytime you summon anything with this deck, if this is in your hand, you just immediately special summon it. It has its attack and defense halved, but that doesn't matter because you're not ever attacking with this thing. You're just using this to overlay for your XZs. And its best effect is when it's detached as an XZ material.
The popping
you
effect,
just
right?
pop, yeah. And actually, it's funny because what you can do with this is you have a monster like Super Dreadnought Dora, which is your first turn play, which I'll get into. That has a quick effect where it can quick effect attach a material, target a card on the field, make it unaffected by card effects. When you detach this, it becomes a quick effect pop on your opponent's turn. So you have this as material, you can quick effect detach, target itself to become unaffected, and then pop a card on your opponent's field during their turn. It's so good. So this card, without a doubt, best in the deck. 3 of the other cards I was talking about, the new support from Legendary Duelist, Super Express Bullet Train. This card, you can special summon from your hand if you control all Earth Machines. You can only use that once per turn. This is a little bit of a brick at times. I'm considering cutting this down to 2, but as for now, 3 was nice. It has a second effect where if it hits the graveyard in the end phase of that turn, you can add an Earth Machine back from your graveyard to your hand. Very good for recurrence plays because before this card came out, trains did not have a whole lot of ways to survive if you didn't OTK on the second turn. That gives you a little more recycling there. Last of the trains is a 1 Ruffian Railcar. This card's not good. You don't want to summon this. You need it here because it's the perfect Shaddoll Fusion target and also off of some other stuff in the extra deck as well. And it has an effect where if it hits the graveyard, you can add a level 10 Earth Machine from your deck to your hand. More recursion, that's why it's there. It's just good to dump off of, and it's a good urgent schedule target as well.
Makes sense.
So that finishes up the trains. For the monsters, I said Shaddoll already, so it's no secret we're running the Shaddoll Fusion package in this deck. 1 Dragon, 1 Beast. When they're sent, you can either draw 1 card or pop a spell and trap. You don't need any more than this because you don't want these in your hand. And any more than this I found is a little too bricky. As for next monsters, 3 Ash. Look, they're in the structure deck now. There's no reason not to own 3 Ash. They're like a $5, $6 card. You gotta play this. It's a going second deck, and you will lose so badly if you can't at least interrupt your opponent's turn somewhat.
And they're only going to be more accessible going in the future.
Exactly. They're only becoming more accessible because they're coming reprinted again in Dual Devastator. So just you play 3 Ash, please. I mean, you just do it. And the last monsters here, an engine that I'm probably going to be taking out in the future, but an engine that worked really well while I won, is the Kaiju package. 2 Jizukiru, 1 Gameciel, 1 Kumongous. This can be anything. Some people like running the 2 Gameciel. I like this because it helps more with Interrupted because you need different names. These are amazing because you activate Interrupted, you give your opponent a Gameciel, you give yourself a Jizukiru. This is a level 10 machine. That gives you access to your Xyz plays right there. So that's very nice to be able to give yourself a free level 10 off of Interrupted. And with Interrupted at 3 now, absolutely insane. So that finishes off the monsters. For the spells, as I said, 3 Shaddoll Fusion. If your opponent controls an extra deck monster, which they always will if you're going second pretty much, you just get a free summon of a El Shaddoll Shekinaga, who's an Earth Machine. And we'll get into that a little later. Now, the card that made this deck actually playable in the Legendary Duelist, Urgent Schedule.
Yeah, this card is absolutely busted.
This card is absolutely insane. You have to run 3 of it. I know it's $20, but please, you gotta run 3 of this. This card makes it so busted.
Now, what's so good about this card?
Basically, what makes this card amazing is you can special summon a level 5 or higher and a level 4 or lower machine from your deck directly to your field, and the only stipulation has to be if your opponent controls more monsters than you do. So, you're going second. They're always going to control more monsters than you. This is a free 2 cards right away, and then you can chain the Derricrane from your hand, and then you can chain the Bullet Train from your hand. I've had turns where I've gotten 5 cards on the field thanks to Urgent Schedule starting 1. Now, the thing you got to watch out for is this can be ashed, and we have called in this deck for a reason, but it's best to try and use other cards to kind of bait out the ash if you know they might have it, because you don't want this to be ashed. Like, you rather them ash your Interrupted, because you want Urgent Schedule to go off. If Urgent Schedule resolves, you're probably winning the duel about 70 to 80% of the time. The next 3, Pot of Desires. A lot of people don't like playing Pot of Desires, and they'll play it too, but I'll tell you what, you gotta man up, you gotta play 3. Just do it. Because you're gonna win or lose on the first or the second turn of the game anyway. You're not gonna see the rest of those cards that you would have banished. It just helps you just speed through your deck. You need 3 Pot of Desires, so just don't be a wimp, play the 3 Pot of Desires. As we mentioned, 3 Called by the Grave. This deck loses badly to hand traps. You need these
necessary
in your deck.
and a lot of decks. Honestly, almost every deck.
Of course, almost every deck I feel like should be running at least 2 of these. I'm just doing 3 because I don't want to lose hand traps. And there's a lot of things that make this deck hard to win with, and Called by Grave gets rid with a lot of them. So with 3, it maximizes my chances of seeing them in my opening hand to protect my plays. Revolving Switchyard, the field spell, and I'll go ahead and throw the 2 Terraforming with that. Hashtag bring Terraforming back to 3, please. But no, Switchyard's really nice. It unbricks your hand beautifully. Discard a card, search a level 10 Earth Machine. It gets you what you need to make your combos. Yep. It has a second effect that's not really usable right now because it prevents battle damage, but once the link comes out, I'll be doing an updated profile, and you can actually resolve this card's effect of special summoning an Earth Machine from the deck on your opponent's turn because of the new Link monster. Absolutely crazy. So once Battles of Legend comes out, we'll be taking a look at that. But for now, it's really just for the first effect to unbrick your hand. Like I mentioned before then, 3 Interrupted. This card at 3 makes me very happy. It's good, and a lot of the times it will win you games, because if your opponent doesn't ash it, they have their board wiped, and
not a lot of people expect it, honestly. They don't.
And you know, I don't get it, because it's at 3, and I get a lot of people just think it's not good enough to play or whatever, but people just don't expect it, you know? And even if you do play it and they ash it, cool. You have the Urgent Schedule for free for the rest of the turn. You have all the other stuff you can do. You have Shaddoll Fusion. Yeah, like you said, a lot of people don't expect it. It's a really nice card at 3 of. I am considering taking it out in a newer build I have, but for now it worked really well for the local stopping I did. Last card, Monster Reborn, combo extender.
It's Monster Reborn.
It's Monster Reborn, okay? Look, you're trying to get as many train boys on the field as possible in the first turn. This helps out. When you open with this card, you can make some pretty crazy stuff. I've had boards where I've had a cleave for it with 2 links under it because of this card. This card's awesome, so. One Monster Reborn.
That's the main deck.
That's the main deck. Going into the extra here.
How much is main deck?
Main deck is at 42. Now, you can cut that down. Like I said, that's what I'm working on right now, to cut it down and kind of take the Kaijus out, and I'm experimenting with some other stuff, which we'll get into in a different thing. But I feel like 42 is a good number because there's a lot of stuff you need to make trains work, and Pot of Desires really helps it as well. So, I mean, I think 42 is fine. I wouldn't go over 42, though.
Cool.
So, onto the extra deck. 1 Shekinaga. A lot of people play 2 because you technically can get a second Shaddoll Fusion in your hand, but I find that, number 1, it's a $7 card, and I don't really want to be playing $7 for another card that I'm almost never going to use. I've maybe had it come up once where I could use it, and also, I mean, a lot of the times, you're just going to lose on the second turn anyway if you don't win, so it's just, I like the extra deck space for other stuff. So 1 Shekinaga. Now we get into the main OTK combo. 2 Gustav Max, burn for 1,000. I'm going to show you all the cards here first. 2 Libe, which is the big boy boss of the entire deck, and 1 Dora. Now, this is where trains became pretty nice with the addition of this boss monster. Before, their plays would always just swarm with Gustav Max, burn for a ton, and Dora and stuff like that. But the play now is, every single game, doesn't change. Get 2 level 10s on the field somehow. Summon into Gustav Max. Detach, burn for 2,000, hopefully get a pop with Derricrane as an effect. Overlay into Libe. What Libe does is he can detach, becomes 6,000 attack for the rest of the turn, and he can attack monsters on the field up to the number of materials you have. So he can literally just attack pretty much all the monsters your opponent has for 6,000. A lot of the times, after dealing 2,000 with Gustav Max, that's just game right there. So this card's absolutely crazy. The best part about this card is just seeing your opponent's reaction when you summon it and tell them what it does, and they just go, oh, that's pretty beefy. So, Libe, really nice. Glad they printed it. It's probably one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards of all time. Dora's there just for your first turn plays. That's the only first turn you play you have. You have to go second with this deck. If you go first, you're going to lose probably. Only hope is sit on Dora, 4,000 defense, detach, make himself unaffected, hope you survive. That's why he's there for that. That's why I don't play 2 of that. Sky Palace, you can overlay Libe. All the things I'm about to show you can overlay Libe onto. He's an additional pop. He can detach material, pop, inflict 1,000, and hopefully get a second pop with Derricrane if he's a material. So that's pretty cool. Super Dimensional Robot Galaxy Destroyer. Probably one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards of all time as well. 3 level 10s. He's a Harpy's Feather Duster that cannot be responded to. You nuke your opponent's entire back row, and then guess what? He's an level 10 machine. Overlay Libe on top of him, go for game. And the last one that you can overlay Libe on top to, and it's a very spicy tech card, number C9 Chaos Dyson Sphere. Nobody knows what the hell this card is, and I absolutely love it. Basically, this is your only out to Avramax. I was expecting to play a lot of Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax, and when I did play it, this card won me the game. What he does is when he attacks, he just takes that opponent's monster immediately and absorbs it as material. Very nice, and once again, you can overlay Libe on top of him. And it's also like a 70-cent card, so pretty cool. Not a lot of people think of it to do that. Other XZs, I ran the Spider package. I didn't go into it once, so I'm 100% cutting these, and I'm going to be putting some new stuff in, like I said, with the link coming out. So we'll go into that again. But as for now, it's not bad if you can get into it. I mean, 7 Sins is a really freaking good card. It's just the situation never came up.
Not as relevant.
No, not as relevant. Anytime I could have made these, I would have just rather made another Libe. So
yeah.
And for the links, deck doesn't have a whole lot of links, but you do need a few. Underclock Taker. This has won me games. If you can get 4 monsters on the field, go into Underclock with Libe under it, target, make 0, attack directly for 6,000. It's pretty stupid. So definitely Underclock Taker I recommend. Pentastag. If you play a deck where they want to put all their stuff in defense and you can't really do anything, 6 Samurais. Help me out a lot in that. But he can inflict piercing. So you make 2 monsters, put Libe under that, 6,000 piercing. And the last one is Cleafor Genius. Very good in this deck. He only takes two machine monsters. Target 1 card on each side of the field each turn, negate them. And you can actually resolve his effect, where if you special summon a monster to each of his zones, you can search a machine from your deck. You can do that with Urgent Schedule. If your opponent has 2 monsters on the field, you can get into Cleafort, then Urgent Schedule for 2 more, activate the effect to search another one, and have Cleafort with 2 monsters there. It's pretty cool.
Awesome.
I would definitely take out one of those for Mrs. Radiant as well, because Mrs. Radiant did come up in a play where I would have won because of that. But that'll be up in the updated profile.
Cool. Going on to side deck.
Quickly, yeah, side deck. Side deck's pretty important because you need some going first cards. Skill Drain, number 1. This card's an auto win. If you start with this and set it, you pretty much win the game if they can't get rid of it. Because your train guys, they don't care if their effects are negated. They're all 4,000 attack. They can just attack freely. And a lot of times this is actually even better because Super Express can't attack unless you discard 2 cards. This negates that. That's a free 3,000 beater on the field immediately. Twisters, because Mystic Mind is stupid and I hate it. And so is Altergeist. I also hate that. And a lot of stuff has backer that I hate. So 3 Twin Twisters.
Orcus.
Orcus, yes. A lot of that. Salamangreats, all that good stuff. For the auto win against Orcus and Thunder Dragons, Artifact Lancia. Start with this card. Tribute it. They can't banish. They can't combo. They end their turn. You do your train shit. You win. Beautiful. Beautiful card. 3 red Reboot. Now, this was a card that I really didn't know of its existence and how good it was, so shout out to Aiden behind the camera for letting me know. This card has won me games against Salads, and it's won me game against Orcus, where they go to activate their trap to do whatever the heck they want to do there, and you just red reboot from your hand. You don't care that you're losing life points, because you're going to win or lose on that turn anyway. So, very good card. This is a spice one that I've caught some flack for, but 3 Forbidden Chalice. These should ideally be impermanents. I'm not buying 3 $40 cards, so this pretty much does the exact same thing as impermanents, except it's 40 cents. Obviously, it's not as good as impermanents. It doesn't have the same negate of the same column. But it's good enough, and it's a quick play. You can set it on your first turn and kind of interrupt your opponent's plays by getting their effects during their turn. The last 2, and these will be taken out in my next build, but as for now, they were 2 pretty cool one-ofs. That's Black Garden and Time Thief Hack. Time Thief Hack makes your Xyz monsters unable to be destroyed by card effects and untargetable. And Black Garden, every single time you special summon a monster, you give your opponent a token in attack position. So if your opponent only is going to play the game where they don't want to put monsters on the field, so you can't OTK, play Black Garden, searchable by Terraforming, and you give them a ton of monsters to go ahead and attack over.
Awesome. Well, I guess this is your final opinion. How investable do you think this deck is?
I think with the new Link coming out, this deck is going to be one that sees a lot more play. I would definitely recommend picking up a lot of the train stuff while it's still relatively cheap, because I think it can go up, and a lot of it was printed in the Legendary Duelist set and was short printed. But I think it's a good deck. It's a really good deck for people who just want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And ironically just like piss people off, because like this deck's so easy to play, and you can just make these giant things and win a lot of the time against someone who just had a 30-minute first turn. It's just really satisfying to me, because I've never been a fan of the huge, ridiculous Wombo combo first turn decks, and this is a beautiful deck. And last thing I gotta say is, there's no better feeling in the world than when you win the dice roll and say, I'd like to go second, and your opponent just scratches their head having no idea what the hell goes on. So yeah, I went 3-1 with this. Recommend you to try it out. It's a lot of fun. Trains, choo-choo. And make sure you play Thomas the Tank Engineer Rape in the background.
Awesome. Well, with that said, thank you, Andrew, for your deck profile. And
absolutely.
Be sure to like and subscribe to this video, and comment down below whatever you think. Any advice or
any questions about the deck?
Yep,
we'd love to help you out. Yeah.
Yep, and we'll love to answer those. Anyway, thank you guys, and till next time.
All right, peace out.